Young at Heart by Pam Young. What do you want? To look younger or just not look older? I watched the Academy Awards and couldn't wait to hear Barbra Streisand sing a tribute to her close friend Marvin Hamlish. She sang The Way We Were, and I wish she were the way she was. I'm not positive, but I think she's had a facelift, and bless her heart, she looked wonderful, but when she sang, her lips didn't move. I love her genius as a singer, actor, and producer, but I was disappointed that she put herself through that procedure. We're the same age, and she definitely looks younger than I do, but at least my lips move when I talk. What is it with us women? Do we want to look younger or just not look older? When we were children, I know we wanted to be older. That's why we'd answer, "I'm 7.5." But we didn't think about wanting to look older. I do remember having to show ID in my 20s because I looked younger than 21, but I didn't have a desire to be or look older because drinking wasn't my thing and age really didn't concern me. However, at about 35, I started seeing the first signs of looking older as daring, stray gray hairs began sprouting at my temples. I paid the kids a penny a hair to pull them. By the time I was 55, my offspring had moved on to better-paying jobs, and besides, if they'd still been willing to work for me, I'd have been rendered 2/3 bald. At 60, I dyed my hair for the first time, but after about 4 years, I let my real color grow out and the gray take over. I got tired of hearing a wolf whistle, turning around and shocking the life out of some young guy who thought he was going to get the attention of a young lassie, only to find an old lady glaring back at him. I actually prefer being a Q-tip because the wolf whistles have stopped and I'm officially invisible to the opposite sex. It's a good thing. I think one reason why we women are more aware of looking older is because we wear makeup, and as we get older, we end up having to use a magnifying mirror to see what we're doing. I bought the one I have today at a garage sale, and I swear it enlarges my face so much I can watch my cells divide. The thing even has lights, and I asked the woman who was in her 70s why she was selling it. "It's just too scary," she replied. Men don't need magnifying mirrors to shave, and I think if they had to look into one of those mirrors every day, they'd be considering facelifts the same way women do. A couple of years ago, I was at a local Chamber of Commerce event, and my neighbor had a little table of beauty products she was selling. I went up to her just to say hello, and she asked, "Would you like to try this wonderful hand scrub?" Before I could ask what a hand scrub was, she took my hands and poured water over them and smeared about a teaspoon of gritty substance into my palm. "Rub your hands together real good," she instructed. As I moved the sandy grit around as if I were rolling my hands in glee, she said, "Now hold your hands over this bowl and I'll rinse them off." Once they were rinsed, to my utter amazement, they felt as smooth as a dolphin's tummy. I was impressed as I dried on a paper towel. "Come over to my house sometime, and I'll give you a free facial," she invited. That's when I really looked at her and realized she looked amazingly young, and she had to be somewhere around my age. The next day I went for my free facial and walked out of her house with $497 in beauty care products for my face. I went from washing my face in the shower when I shampoo my hair to performing a 10-minute, 6-step beauty regime every night. Spending that kind of money compelled me to use the products. But 6 months later, when it was time to fork out another wad, I gazed into my magnifying mirror in horror and had to admit I looked no different than I had before I'd scrubbed my hands at the Chamber of Commerce. One of the gifts of aging is we have more time to think about things. I've come to the conclusion that since my face is 70 years old, my husband's face is 70, and most of our friends' faces are in the 70 range, I'm just going to enjoy the faces in my life just as they are. Adore who you are. Adore where you are. Adore who you're with.